People think the hardest riddles come from books, but one man learned that the deadliest riddle comes from a woman's heart. So let's begin the story.
Long ago, in a distant kingdom, a man named Rowan was sentenced to death for disobeying the crown. When he was dragged before King Aldrich, the king didn't shout or rage. Instead, he leaned forward with a cold smile and said, "Your life can be spared, but only if you answer a question that none of my scholars could solve." He paused and asked, "What is the deepest desire of a woman's heart?" Rowan froze. He expected punishment, not a riddle that sounded simple yet carried deadly weight. The king granted him 1 year to find the answer. Fail and he would hang. Rowan traveled across towns and villages, asking women of all ages, warriors, widows, merchants, and queens. Each gave a different answer: love, loyalty, safety, respect, companionship. But nothing felt truly universal. As the year faded, Rowan's hope dimmed. The execution rope was getting closer, and the right answer still hid in the shadows. When Rowan had only a week left, an old traveler whispered a name that chilled him: the Witch of Blackthorn Woods, a woman feared for her terrible power, but respected for her knowledge. Desperate, Rowan entered the forest where sunlight barely reached the ground. After hours of walking, he found a crooked cottage wrapped in vines. The witch appeared without a sound, hunched, wrinkled, eyes burning like embers. Rowan fell to his knees. "Please, tell me the answer. My life depends on it." The witch grinned, revealing sharp, uneven teeth. "Oh, I know the answer, but knowledge always has a price." Rowan's heartbeat trembled. "Name it." She stepped forward and whispered, "Marry me. Accept me completely as your wife. Only then will I tell you the truth." Rowan felt the world spin. Choosing her meant a life of fear, but refusing meant certain death.
Rowan agreed, not because he wanted to, but because survival leaves little room for comfort. The witch nodded once and gave him the answer, but before he could leave, she said, "There is one more thing." She led him inside her dim cottage and said, "Because you kept your promise, I will reward you. I can take 2 forms, a beautiful woman or a hideous witch, but you must choose when." Rowan stared, stunned. She continued, "Should I appear beautiful during the day so the world admires me, and be a witch only at night for you? Or should I be a fairy in your private hours and a monster before everyone else?" It was a trap, another impossible choice. Rowan paced the wooden floor, heart pounding. Choosing one form meant controlling her life again, just like the king, society, and everyone who ever judged her. And suddenly, Rowan understood.
Rowan stopped pacing. He turned toward her, really looked at her, not with fear, but with understanding. He said softly, "It's not my choice to make. It's yours. You deserve to choose your own life, your own form, your own future. I won't decide for you." The witch blinked, startled. No man had ever spoken to her that way. People only feared her, controlled her, or tried to use her power. A slow, trembling smile spread across her face, not wicked, but heartbreakingly gentle. Light began to pulse through her skin. Her bent spine straightened. Her wrinkled hands softened. Within seconds, she transformed,
not into a half-day beauty, but into a radiant, permanent fairy. She whispered, her voice steady with emotion, "You have given me the one thing no one ever offered, freedom, and freedom is the deepest desire of every woman's heart."
The next morning, Rowan returned to the palace. The guards mocked him as he entered, expecting a broken, desperate man. But Rowan walked with calm confidence. When he stood before the king, Aldrich smirked. "Well, have you solved the riddle?" Rowan bowed. "Yes, Your Majesty. A woman's greatest desire is freedom. The freedom to make her own choices, live her own life, and shape her own destiny." The court fell silent. The king's smirk faded. It was the first answer that made him pause, the first answer that felt complete. Finally, he nodded. "Correct. Your life is spared." Rowan walked out a free man, alive because he had understood a truth deeper than any riddle. Later, when he returned to his wife, the fairy who once lived as a witch, she smiled warmly and said, "You didn't just save your life. You saved mine, too."